Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jay, here to announce some really sad news. But before we do that, I want to also uh, send my wishes and condolences to victims of today's horrific incident on the New York City subway in the Sunset Park area of Brooklyn. You know, hope those hope those individuals get better and hope um, the assailant is caught. But to the main topic of this video about the death of comedy legend, another Brooklynite, another Brooklyn native, in more Brooklyn news. Um, the passing of comedic legend, fabulous voice actor, the voice of Iago from the parrot from the TV show Aladdin, and Igor Peabody, the principal at on Problem Child 1 and 2. Everybody remembers the pencil desk in Problem Child 2 when he was yelling at Junior, played by Michael Oliver, in that famous underrated comedy from the early 90s. And of course, everybody always remembers him as Iago on the parrot in all the Aladdin movies, including the straight to video sequels, and also as the sidekick, the bird sidekick Digit on Cyber Chase. He was always known as a sidekick, an evil sidekick character, just because of his distinctive voice. I remember watching him as a kid with my stepdad in Problem Child 2, and my stepdad would be like, this guy voice is so annoying and so grating. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard. But that's what made him distinct. That's why people loved him. He started his career in 1980. Like I said, he was born in Brooklyn to a father. The father owned a hardware store, and the mother was a stay-at-home mom. He started his career in 1980. New York comedy scene in the 80s. Stand-up comedy was the way that most comedians, like most old school comedians that you see now, they got into the game through stand-up comedy. Through stand-up comedy, working the club circuit. Tim Allen was like this. Roseanne Barr was like this. Gilbert Gottfried, of course, was like this. But being in New York, you got noticed by the Not Ready for Primetime Players, the biggest show in New York at the time, which was Saturday Night Live, an institution in New York. So he started to work for them in 1980, and was the year this was the year that Lauren Michaels, the creator of Saturday Night Live, was not working there. From there, he only lasted a little while, played a couple of characters. He actually played one character in uh, the, that was dead, actually, in a funeral parlor in one sketch. From there, he met Eddie Murphy, and he starred in Beverly Hills Cop. And then after that, he moved on to uh, he moved on to do other things in comedy. Basically, he was in a lot of stuff in the early '90s slash late '80s and early '90s. Basically, he was pretty much everywhere. But just the voice itself, especially playing a villain, like that voice would get under your skin. And also as the principal slash, again, like I said, the principal slash the adoption agency director in Problem Child, because just see when you yell at Junior. I think Problem Child was underrated because at the time, you had Home Alone, and Home Alone was considered the better of the two. Both were centered around mischievous boys, but Home Alone was considered the better of the two. Just like with Aladdin, Cyber Chase, his character of Digit was similar to his character in Cyber Chase. Documentary about his life came out in 2017, and he had done his podcast up until 2021, up until April 4th. And he was, he pretty much had a normal speaking voice, but that was pretty much his speaking voice. That whiny, nasally, uh, type of Brooklyn speaking voice. So he died of a rare disease. It was a rare heart condition that was related to some kind of dystrophy, and it was degenerative. But he never let on in the public eye that he had this kind of illness. No one ever knew. But rest in peace to Gilbert Gottfried. He was a legend in my childhood and in the '90s nostalgia, which we cover a lot of in this channel. Um, condolences to his family, and once again, condolences to anybody hurt or injured in the Sunset Park train attack. Sunset Park is just like it's a crazy day for me, you know, because Gilbert Godfrey was such a part of my childhood growing up and my early adulthood watching, PBS Kids, Cyber Chase, um, and Aladdin. Aladdin was my favorite Disney cartoon because it was the first cartoon made specifically, the first Disney cartoon made specifically for boys. And with the Sunset Park thing, uh, that was the area that a lot of my family came from. That was the area that a lot of my family has roots in. So that is a tremendous struggle for me as well. But yeah, rest in peace to Gilbert Godfrey, and condolences to his family, condolences also to the victims to the attack. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, love you guys. Peace.